Alright. Try it all open there. Yes, yes. Madam, did I get my tea? I did. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Oh, skip it about. Oh, yes, baby. Hello. What's up? Hey, what's up? And what's up, Jokoff? What's up? Yes, yes. You wanna be up here? Yeah, in my lap. Come here. Come here. Kill me. Oh my god. I'm grabbing those paws. You stretch. You big stretchy boy. Look at you. Look at you. You're stretched and you're absurd. You are a stretch and absurd. Solo been using dry herb vaporizer. Nice. Okay, are you just gonna sit here now? Oh my god, great. You're actually like literally in the way. I can't like. I'm alright. I'm gonna make you move. I move my chair. Yeah, exactly. There you go. Yes, sweet boy. You goofy thing. Yeah, you got a fresh bowl of food for you. Fresh water. What do you want? Besides attention, which I gave you that for like an hour or so already. Oh my god, this dog. This dog is absurd. But I'm gonna be here for just a little bit, like 30 minutes or something like that. Just kind of chill, wake my brain up, get ready for work and all that fun stuff. Though, part of me is honestly thinking whether I should or not anyway, just because it's fucking late last night, my mom gave me a text like, oh hey, I have COVID, you need to get tested. I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? I literally just got over being sick not even a month ago. Fucking visited you the day before. Luckily so far it's neg, but I mean, that could mean anything at this rate. I mean, that could just mean like, oh, you have it, but it's not activated yet. It's not like, you know, fucking doing shit to you. So, it could be asymptomatic, it could be not, I don't fucking know. I feel fine right now, at least, but it's probably going to be a few days before I really actually feel anything from that. Which means that Mom's had it for a few days, and she didn't. So, yay. I'm not exactly, like, hyper worried about, though, just because I've been vaccine boosted, so, I mean, but it's still, like, more so of a concern knowing that other people can potentially be getting it and shit, and that's, like, more so my worry than anything. Because I feel like I'll be okay, especially with just recently getting over from being sick. My immune system is a little bumped up, a little extra right now, so I'm not, like, super worried about it, but I'm still a little like, god damn it, I did not need to have this information. Not exactly fun to figure that shit out, but like I said, at least for right now, I'm still doing alright, so I guess we'll see in the next day or two. Because I just, like, got over, like, my sinuses being all fucked up from last time I was sick, like, for at least a week or so, and then I got over my fucking lungs being all kind of phlegmy out from being sick, so at least for that was just a basic flu type of shit. So at least this time, you know, hopefully because of that, you know, I don't really actually do get sick this time around, so yay, I hope for that, but who knows. MC of the Blue Dream sees, what's up? Talking about how a mama fucking late last night, after I went on my range day, so she had COVID, so now I'm sitting here like, god damn it. So far I've been tested neg, but it's still just like, it's still fucking kind of disconcerting. Motherfuck. I gotta learn not to pack these so damn tight. Well, she gave me that fucking text, let her know she had it yesterday while I was out on the range. I'm breaking in my new gun. So, I didn't get that until like around like 8 or something because I didn't have any service where I was. So I couldn't get her message. And I visited her the day before that on Tuesday. So, honestly, there is a strong likelihood she did, but not intentionally, obviously. Because she was telling me that, like, oh yeah, someone in the facility does, but they're, like, on the opposite side of the facility. I'm like, okay. Because they were doing pretty strict policies with, like, masks over where she's at. So, I mean, I was at least abiding by those. Do you feel sick? No. I mean, I just got over being sick, so my immune system should actually, if anything, be kind of bumped up a little bit. So, if anything, I'm fine. It's more of like she just decided to incite this paranoia on me, like, last night and today. So, it's just like, God fucking damn it. Because I tend to have at least a little bit of a mind like that, where I'm just like, uh-oh. Gotta think of the worst. And tend to overthink that sometimes. But, I mean, I'm vaxxed and boosted, so, like I said, I shouldn't really be, like, hit too hard with it if I am. And if I am, it's probably going to be more like what it was last time, where I was, like, a little phlegmed out. But, at least for last time, it was more just straight up, like, sore as fuck and just my stomach feeling like shit. But at least, hopefully, if this happens, then it's mostly just going to be like just maybe drowsiness and just like a little bit of a phlegm thing. But I don't know. I'm not going to be like too fixated and focused on it, at least right now. Did you see a Rational National video where Teddy Boy Cruz dodges gun control questions? He's not the only one doing that. Discussing somewhat hilarious how he dodges the question. Oh, is it actually kind of funny and amusing? Here, I'll see if I can find it. Irish teacher's reaction to U.S. school shootings goes viral on TikTok. Oh my god. I hate how, like, so much shit gets viral on TikTok and I have to, like, vigorously find it. And hopefully somebody uploaded it somewhere else that isn't fucking TikTok, because Jesus Christ. I will never use that fucking platform. Like, that's one of the platforms, even with its popularity, I will just be like, nah. Twitter? Sure. YouTube? Yes. Fucking Twitch? Yeah. All these, like, the fucking TikTok, though? No. Like, goddamn. And plus, I'm pretty sure that app is actually, like, Chinese-based, too. But fuck TikTok. How's that offense? I'm sitting here bitching about TikTok. Like, the reason why I'm saying it's Chinese-based is because, from my understand, I remember hearing and reading up about how the Chinese state government actually uses TikTok to essentially do surveillance and gather information on its users. And thus, by proxy, that's going to essentially be everybody fucking using it. To Chinese, supposedly. Yeah, to the Chinese government. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I guess it is alleged. I don't know if it is actually true, but, I mean, knowing social media platforms like Twitter, Facebook, etc., yes, they fucking do. They do it. It might be technically, allegedly, but we all know they do it. I mean, if Zuckerberg and fucking whoever's, like, leading Twitter now and all that shit is willing to, like, gather information and data off of their users, then why wouldn't the Chinese government do that? It might not be for profit and advertisement reasons, but they got them nonetheless. Well, it definitely is going to at least play a role into that too, but that's probably not their major priority. Oh, Ben, did you actually see a little bit of the stream last night? Because I showed some of the videos that I'm going to eventually kind of mesh together with my range day. But check this out. This is the second bullet that came out of my US Palm Mag, which, by the way, those US Palm Mags fucking suck dick. Because this bullet looks like it got smooshed in there a little bit. I wish I had a normal, like, unshot and unspent one to show you a comparison to it, but I don't think I need to, because I think that right there shows that, yeah, this could have been a bad day. But those Bulgarian mags, not a single issue. Well, actually, one bullet had one feeding issue, but all I did was, you know, put the bolt back, and the bullet just fell out. So those Bulgarian mags, I'm buying a fuckload of those. So, like, I'm going to buy, like, 8 more Bulgarian steel-enforced polymer mags, because those things fucking are phenomenal. The US Pol mag, I was going to buy at least one more just to have at least, like, 2 of those to make it even, but no. Nah, I'm not going to do that. Those, at least the US Pol mag that I had, it had some horrible fucking feeding problems. In fact, let me just show you. Here, I'll just go to my gallery and just throw away the US Pol mag. I'm not going to throw it away. I'd rather sell it and get at least, like, fucking 15 bucks out of it. I mean, shit. 10 bucks, something. I ain't going to just toss it. I want something out of it, damn it.
Let's see what we do.
Not here. Oh, hi, Bandit. I heard you.
That bullet does not look like it's usable.
That was the one that I just showed you.
Oh, close.
Tried bump firing it, didn't work with the US Pol mag.
Oh,
Watch out for the dog.
no, watch out for one in the chamber. When another bullet almost wanted to go in there.
Man, those US Pol mags were shit. Because look what it ended up starting to do. Like, the gun itself wasn't having issues. But because that mag did not want to fucking cooperate at all.
Oh, shit. Alright.
Banging on ground, like to the Russian. And this is why having the dust cover come off so easily is so important with these things.
What the fuck?
It took for a while.
Yeah, it was already spent.
Take a second to get that fucking bitch in there, but here.
Okay, so I'll see what the difference is. Fuck.
I swear, half of this video is me fucking struggling with that damn mag. Well, here, let me show you the Bulgarian ones, because these are actually fundamentally way better use.
Just...
Here we go.
Hey, Joker!
Oh, I hear him. He's over there.
Just want to make sure of that. Woo!
That got it.
Yeah, that got one.
No feeding issues. Plus, it actually feeds well, because that was a rapid-fire bump fire, but it kind of mishit, or misejected one shell and didn't get the third one off. But I could tell if I, with some practice, I could bump fire those bulk mags and it'll just go, just go launching out. I love this thing. I love that thing so much.
Alright, I guess I didn't need that one.
Bullet was still good, so I kept it. Loaded it in another mag later. Might not see it, but I have a couple targets a little bit downrange.
He's good. As long as he's behind me.
I love bump firing that thing. Each time you bump fire, you lose $5. Kubsuk with some guns. Like, what's he gonna use? What's he gonna do?
Okay.
So smooth. But yeah, I was able to fire 60 with those 2 Bulgarian mags. Slick. So this compilation of vids right there, doggy body armor and a room for extra armor sounds more appropriate, to be honest. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't necessarily need like some doggy body armor or anything, at least right now. But yeah, having like a little like utility vest for him where he can like carry some extra stuff is definitely useful. But that's why I have my little vest. Here, actually, let me, but that's why I got my attack vest that I have as well, because, well, just watch it, you know, when I come back up, I can at least have all my shit next to me. And plus, I have my mags, you know, right in front of me, so I can just pick them right up. I like how I'm just, like, all decaled out. Oops. Getting a little hot. Getting some fresh gun oil, getting lubricated now. Pop's slowly walking over there, you know, to fucking, you know, check out the results of my melon. Actually, here. Let's look at that melon. That was the result of it. I got a little shot on the side of it. The first melon that we used, I obliterated the shit out of it. It was gone. There wasn't much melon to speak of. And this second one, I kind of got on the edge, but I still need to sight them. But also, I want to get a dust cover that has a Picanti rail on it. Specifically the Zenico B33 rail, which, oh my god, that's gonna be a hard fucking find. I want to at least get the Zenico B10U lower, because then that will at least guarantee I can get that, because then I can attach it to that. But in the meantime, I'm probably gonna at least have to find another dust cover that has a rail system on it. At least in the meantime, which kind of blows, because I really, really, really want a Zenico, but... Of course, thank you, America, and Biden for sanctioning the shit out of everything. Well, thank Putin, too, also, for being a fucking abhorrent, imperialistic, fascist shitbag, too, you know, so there's that as well. But, nonetheless, dog bite also increases Zukov's ability to defeat knife attackers as well as gunshots. Well, no shit. I'm not going to have him in a situation where that's going to be a thing. Like, honestly, like, I will not put him in a situation like that. Like, just for, like, you know, on range and stuff like that, like, he's fine, but if he isn't, like, if I'm going to, like, a protest or some shit like that, and there's a likelihood that somebody could probably be carrying a piece or brandishing knives and shit like that, like, I wouldn't bring him there. Like, I might bring him to, like, a day event, like, you know, if there's, like, a 2 to 5, like, you know, rally, and then... later in the evening there is, like, I drop them off and then go back, but, you know, I'm not gonna fucking, you know, just, like, like, if, you know, like, this 2020 protests and shit, like, there's no way in fucking hell I'd bring him to any of those, especially considering what was going on. With all the tear gas and shit, no way. For doggo home defense. Doggo home defense? I mean, he doesn't need to wear body armor all the time, like, when he's at home. I mean, at least in my specific neighborhood, it isn't really that, like, crime-ridden. Like, it's definitely got some issues, I guess, but, I mean, really, it's mostly, usually just homeless that are coming from the, watershed. That's, like, not even a mile from here. And they'll, you know, come over here mainly just for, like, petty thievery shit. Like, oh, I'm gonna try to find some scrap metal, or see if there's a car unlocked, and maybe find, like, a, you know, radio that's a little loose so I can just, like, pop out or some shit. It's literally just petty shit like that. And luckily, when it comes to like trying to, jack people's shit in their cars, there really hasn't been any of that. It's mostly just like, if anything, especially on Wednesday nights, people like, maybe a few homeless dudes will like go through some of the recycling and shit and just see if there's like, metal scrap or something that might be worth a fuck, that can at least be something they could turn into the scrap yard or some shit. Which honestly, if it's stuff like I actually remember a couple nights back, I saw a guy that was making his rounds up and down my street like that late at night when I went to the bathroom and let Zukov out, and Zukov decided to just go check him out. And I'm like, Zukov, come over here, and went up to the dude, and he was, if anything, just wanted to be left alone. He was like, hey, sorry if I, disturbed your dog or nothing. I'm like, yeah, it's okay. So I was just letting him outside. It's all right. He's just gathering cans, and he's like, yeah, that's it. It's like, all right, whatever. Just, just don't look too suspicious. I know how, some people might be about that, and whatever, man. Just went about our way. So, luckily, like, the worst shit tends to be just, like, people just trying to get a couple things to grab, like, an extra buck or two the next day. So, it's nothing really of concern, luckily. Besides, even if there was, especially just up my street alone, I know at least half of these houses have guns. Half of them. On one hand, this local church is cooking for the community $5 a meal, which is cheaper than going to the store or restaurant, and they'll also find million posts of what they will do with the money. Yeah, I'm a little torn on shit like that too when it comes to like community organizing, but it's done via like religious institutions. I mean, at least, like, honestly, like, I will at least, say that I'm glad that there's at least some organization that's trying to help their community, even if it might be for ill-intended purposes, especially if that money. And also, I guarantee you, every time that someone goes over there and, grabs a meal, they're trying to proselytize God to them. So, I mean, it's like, while I definitely like that they're doing that, I just don't like that it's a church that has to be the one fucking doing it. I mean, I've definitely been to, because I've had friends in the past that have been homeless that have been to things like that. At least around here, luckily, there's at least the more church-based ones aren't like super hardcore about it. If anything, they just do what they do because, at least with their religious tenements and what they believe, they think it's actually legitimately something that should be done. So I guess around here, people at least are more willing to be like OG Christians instead of like the crazy fucking like far right fascist ones. It's a church name. Yeah, I'm pretty much the same way about stuff like that. I mean, I guess, the happiness that people are at least getting fed does override it a little bit. I guess it just depends on what the fucking, like how the church is doing that type of stuff. Are they just like, yeah, $5 a meal, here you go. That's all, that's all you need. Hell, honestly, I guarantee you they're probably not doing it just at $5. Like, if someone only has like $4 or something like that, I'm sure they'll be like, okay, that's fine. Yeah, so, I mean, if anything, like, I don't think, that $5 is also like a hard fucking, like, line where it's like, if you have like $4.50, no. So, if anything, the $5 is just so they can keep running and doing their thing. But, I mean, considering they're a church, they're tax exempt. So it's not like they're, running out of money anytime soon, frankly. Because their flock alone, outside of this type of shit, is what's keeping them afloat. I mean, at the end, I guess it's good that they're at least practicing what they're preaching a little bit. At least what is supposedly, what being a Christian is about. Which is like helping the poor and helping your fellow man and shit like that. So, at least, there's, some out there that are actually doing that shit. Whether it's more for religious ill-intended purposes, I guess. But in a better world, I'd prefer government be giving out free meals. Well, yeah. I mean, nonprofits or churches or anything like that really shouldn't be the ones be doing this type of shit. it should be, the government that has at least, some form of, social safety net where there can be at least, if needed for people, easier accessibility to food. That's why things like EBT and SNAP exist, or at least that's the idea of it. Essentially, it's free money for food. And at least with like the EBT cash cards and stuff like that, it's essentially just like a monthly, stipend to help you, stay afloat for not just food, but for maybe other stuff. And at least luckily for those, you can actually take cash out of those. With the EBT cash cards, you can actually take money out of those. So it's even, sometimes those are even more helpful than the food ones. Because honestly, there are some food items that aren't available for the EBT SNAP card because they're considered hot food items. Which kind of fucking sucks. And honestly, I remember, actually, I think it was last year, I believe, that the first, 2 months, at least in Oregon, anyone that had an EBT card can use it for hot food, too. And I don't know if that was across the board, in the whole country, but I know at least in Oregon was the case. And it's just why not just have that be just the norm? What the fuck? Because honestly, there's been, even before 2020 and the pandemic and shit, I can't tell you how many times people grab a handful of Joes and a corn dog or some shit like that and try to use their EBT food card. And it's just I don't see an issue why they shouldn't be able to just get that, but because it's only meant for cold items or, not meals or food that's already been made or some shit, it's nah. Can't accept that. It's bullshit. Been on EBT before, only get $20 a month. How in the fuck? What? Wow. Okay. Jesus. Honestly, the minimal that my friend has, because he has his own personal one. At least last time I heard, I think it was once it's 200 something. And because, at least for me, it's a family EBT card, it's 400 something. So it's just or I think at least it was before. I think it's more 300 something now. But still, it's just what the fuck? How does anyone, how can anyone live off 20 a month? When I was first... Only on my first farm, I got 120, but for several years now, that got slowly cut down and down until it's just about $20. What the? Oh my god, that's fucking stupid. I could get maybe because the income, your yearly income changes. I can see maybe hey, this year instead of $250, you're gonna get 200 or some shit, or something like that. I can maybe get that a little bit. But oh, we're just gonna cut it down to $20. The minimum that an EBT food card should have, regardless of who the fuck you are, should honestly be 180 or something, $180. Because I think that's the minimal that my friend has had, and he's been able to have even leftover cash with EBT, at the end of the month sometimes. Just because at least that can still be somewhat manageable. Because you don't have to necessarily buy, every food item on it either. So it's just depending on what it is, you can kind of pick and choose what you buy on it. So it's I'll just buy a bunch of cheap shit with my own money and then buy more expensive stuff with the food card. I mean, there's ways to where you can at least try to maybe prolong the usage of it, but fuck. I mean, the idea that it could just be less than 100, let alone fucking 150 or some shit is kind of mind-boggling to me. No, for me, $20 can get me through 3 days. Just dead ass. I mean, that's not fucking anything. One time I forgot about having a card for a year and I had 400 when I finally realized I had it. Man, I wish it kind of built up like that for us. Fuck. If we don't use any money, it just goes back to the original fucking number on it. Where it's oh, you only have $20 left, and you were at 330 for your EBT. Well, it's back at 330. It's that kind of sucks. I wish ours built up like that. That'd be dope. Hey, Zukov. Hey, what are you doing? Hey, Zukov. What are you doing? What you doing, boy? Honestly, thinking about it, it's just like, how many people's like issues and shit would fucking be more comfortable and more easier to manage if people just have more easier access to food. Like, even if socioeconomic conditions on most of anything else, relatively stay, like, kind of somewhat the same and shit. Like, if people just had a lot more of an easier access to food, and good food, too, not just fucking processed garbage shit that, if anything, just prolongs your fucking health problems and shit. It makes them worse. Like, actually have, like, legit good accessibility food. Because, honestly, especially with, like, how our agricultural industry works in this fucking country, there's so much food before it even gets put on the shelves and shit that just gets wasted, and it's fucking insane. Like, you can, I mean, even here, like, I mean, sometimes, like, I can go down, like, some farms and shit, and I'll just see random fucking, crop that's just not picked whatsoever. And it's just, they're basically just kind of off the vine. Because, essentially, it's a way to keep the prices fixed on a lot of these different products. Because if they were all harvested and put out to a shop and shit, they'd be significantly more cheaper. And of course, a lot of these companies and shit like to make money on the fixed prices on this type of shit. So they just give subsidies to a lot of these farmers to not pick a lot of their crop. It's like, hey, we have actually overflow, so only pick like 40% of your farm. So they'll only pick like 40% of it, and then the rest of it just gets to stay there. And just later just drop off the trees or drop off their plant and rot. Until next season, where it might happen again. And this is while there's like starvation and all sorts of other shit. Not just in this country, obviously. But just all over the world. It's just like, Yet we have definitely the agricultural resources, not just in this country, but in all sorts of other modern nations, to easily alleviate a fat chunk of the shit. Like, honestly, I guarantee you, when it costs like what, probably like 30 billion something, give or take, to feed every fucking human being on this planet, or at least have some logistical like resources and shit in place to where you can have like lines of supplies and shit that can get to these places with food and easier accessibility to it. Because frankly, the one thing that gets people more radicalized than anything else is the fact that they don't have food on their plate. Enough food to deal with world hunger. It's just not profitable to do so. Exactly. That's why I was mentioning the fact that a lot of farms will be subsidized to not pick their entire crop, or if anything, not pick it at all. Just depending on how much might already be on the market, so to speak. That's why when it comes to a lot of food and shit, the prices are fixed on them. Instead of, maybe legitimately being a little bit more fluctuative, but honestly, a lot more cheaper. It's like, I'd rather have, prices of foods, fluctuate every now and then, because, just depending on how much truly does get, 100% harvested at any given year, or any given, like, harvesting season and shit. But it would be fundamentally cheaper than what the prices would be now. There's more cornfields and cotton fields than anything. Yeah, I can imagine. Probably tobacco fields, too, to some degree. Maybe not as much because, I mean, I'm sure you can grow tobacco in a lot of places, not just in the South, but but yeah, when it comes to like corn and cotton, like, yeah, I mean, there's a reason why, I mean, the South historically, even with its system in place to acquire it, I mean, it has a very strong, robust, and like pretty big cotton industry. And of course, like how they have, done so to, take the benefits of that is abhorrent and beyond fucked up. But, I mean, it is true that it has a very big, huge cotton industry. And not just for the U.S., but also provides for a lot for the world, too. But a lot of it's just mainly bringing the cotton to a lot of these places that make the clothes. So I'm guaranteed a lot of that cotton's probably being sold to places like China, Bangladesh, and shit like that, where people are making these shirts and a lot of these other products for pennies on the dollar. So while workers harvesting it here might be getting a pretty decent wage and pay, maybe, depending on the farm and depending on who's working it, and if they're unionized or not. and then they will sell that shit and make to get their cut, and then sell it off to a lot of these fucking corporations or manufacturers that do a lot of that manufacturing for their products over and overseas and shit, where they heavily and abhorrently fucking exploit the workers significantly even further. If anything, to the equivalent of what those fucking cotton mills and shit used to do back in the old 1600s, if I remember. In a lot of ways, it's just now big middlemen in between of all that. Breaking cops did nothing for an hour as sex shooter killed kids. Oh my fucking god. And this is why there's people that say abolish the police. Because they're beyond useless. If anything, they're just heavily oppressive and are willing to just let the people that they're supposedly are hired to protect and serve, but yet literally do pretty much the like pure, unadulterated, unfiltered opposite of that. Sexual recession. If you're too cowardly to face down a killer, don't be a cop. Seriously. Like, honestly, I mean, I know that honestly a lot of people genuinely, have a negative aspect about veterans being officers. But frankly, like, if there are dudes that I can trust to, like, face down the line of fire, it's a veteran. And honestly, and, like, I mean, there needs to be a very strong, like, strict process when it comes to be a fucking cop. And frankly, like, honestly, if someone's a veteran, able to keep cool and collected, especially under very heavy, stressful situations, and is at least before going on the force willing to live in the community for some time and get to know the people there, and and actually go through the legit regiments of like learning how to protect and serve that set community and shit, then that needs that should be kind of the fucking system that needs to be happening. It should have been, because honestly, like, at least the police in this country just need to be abolished and just created with a new force, with a new different type of policing force entirely. Because I mean, the idea of having literally no law enforcement is definitely a little absurd. So it's just like the current policing concept just needs to be abolished and changed. Like, I mean, there needs to be a lot more of a diversification to what, what law enforcement is about. Because it shouldn't be just like a catch-all thing for a cop to just, be doing. Like, social workers should be a part of it, because, I mean, and a lot of cities are enacting this, where it's like, hey, we'll help with, some law enforcement aspects when it comes to things that aren't necessarily, like, criminal. Like when it comes to, like, mental health cases or homeless cases and shit like that. And actually have a better and more uplifting alternative method when addressing specific issues and shit. Like, and even when it comes to, like, domestic abuses and shit, like, if anything, I think it would be a good idea to at least have one of both. Like, if the backup, for some physicality, or at least, someone to be there as some sort of force mitigator, have an officer on standby, but, send a social worker first, just, like, have them both sit in the car and be like, all right, if I need you, I'll just, press a button on my fucking, like on a lapel or fucking on my vest or some shit, and you'll get like a little boop or some shit. You'll get an alert saying, hey, I need some backup or some shit, or you might be needed, and that guy will, come in and be like, all right, hey, I might be needed as a mitigator, so I'm just gonna, stand back and just make sure nothing gets too crazy or physical. And they don't need to be fucking looking like they're goddamn, like, SWAT units, too, doing it either. Saying to help the homeless. I'm honestly, there's not much I can do. There wouldn't be much I could do unless like I was some fucking like Greek Titan god or some shit. Then I can at least have like some god powers and just fucking, you know, be like, all right, let's just, you know, let's just, you know, enact it and make it so shit. Saying to help out. Yeah, everyone deserves a home. Me, a homie. Well, of course. And frankly, these days, like, most people who are homeless, honestly, in my mind, are just people that used to, you know, have legitimate, like, full lives, but now are just victims of this entire fucking system now at this rate. Including, you know, these, like, type of fucking, not homeless, homeless. Sending her to help the homeless. Oh, I didn't even see that at first. Oh my god. Wasn't even a cop that killed the guy, was a Border Patrol agent. The Border Patrol were unironically more useful than cops. Man, like, fuck ICE, fuck cops, but wow, Border Patrol is actually, like, doing more usefulness to society. I mean, I'm not going to forget the time they all decided to be on horseback and whip a bunch of black people, like they're fucking plantation owners. I won't forget that, but wow, like, what, is this a way for them to be like, well, hold up. We actually could do good. We're better than these guys, at least. Oh my god, a Border Patrol agent? You fucking can't. Uvalde isn't even near the fucking border. Oh my god. Like, I've seen on the map where Uvalde is in Texas, and it's not, like, that close to the fucking Mexican-Texan border at all. I mean, it's, like, I think within that 100-mile, like, limit for where, like, Border Patrol and ICE and Customs Enforcement can have a jurisdiction in, but, like, because Portland is one of those cities. Like, ICE and Border Patrol will be here, and actually ICE has a fucking building and an office here. And it's because we happen to be 100 miles from the coastline. That's why. And it's just like, it's so fucking stupid. It's like, ICE should not be here at all. Like, get the fuck out of the city, you fucking stupid Cretan shits. So I'll have half of all cities and turn them into free-for-alls for the homeless. That sounds like something like fucking Louis Gohmert would propose. Here, see if it's a random little thing I can look at. Nice little bit here. Never seen monkeypox spread like this before. Dr. Mike Hansen. I'm guessing this video is getting recommended like wildfire on YouTube now. It is 2 days old. Just what we needed, another outbreak. While there's still an outbreak happening. 2 and 1, you know, let's go, baby. Humanity's on a great streak right now. I mean, luckily, at least monkeypox isn't as spreadable, from my understand, and isn't as, you know, like, I mean, having it is bad, but from my understand, it isn't, there isn't, like, a high risk of death and shit, and usually most people tend to get over it after 3 weeks about. It's still something you probably don't want whatsoever, you know what I mean, just like COVID, but still, it's just like, ugh. Honestly, I like this. I think this is just showing that like a lot of viruses and bacterias and shit like that are starting to evolve to a lot of our medications and shit. which means honestly, like, there needs to be probably like separate funding within like our within like healthcare research that's just dedicated strictly to like strengthening and figuring out like these super bacterias and super viruses that are far more resistant to shit, and figure out different alternatives and solutions to combat them. Because if they're, especially considering how much they can replicate and and spread, in comparison to people, like they have a higher ability to adapt and evolve because of that. The more you reproduce and the more you replicate, and the more the genealogy continues to go down, the more likelihood of adaptations, mutations, and evolutionary changes. So basically, smaller creatures tend to evolve and adapt a lot more quicker than bigger ones because they reproduce a lot more. So, I mean, with that in mind, it's like we need to at least have something, in place at least to, be on an equal playing field to some degree with that. And, I mean, I'm assuming at least a lot of different places are, but a lot of countries are, doing that type of shit, but considering, the money America's got, you'd think that we'd be doing shit like that, and, well, let alone, that, but just, basic healthcare access, but, yeah, it just doesn't seem like it's a major priority thing. Even though, like, a lot of medical scientists and researchers are like, hey, super bacteria, super viruses are becoming a little bit more common, and normal bacterias and viruses and shit that we normally are able to combat are becoming a little bit more resistant. We should probably be aware of this. And we're just like, nah, it's all good. It's fake news. Why do I feel like just this country is literally just like somehow separated from reality? Like we just are in our own like dimensional fractional like alternate universe rift shift or some shit. And like the rest of the world just happens to just like surround it. It's like some weird spatial anomaly, and that's just on the surface of Earth, and just everyone has to fucking deal with it. And conveniently, it's in the size and shape of the United States. And the anomaly seems to be spreading across the planet. Better decided by level 8 research scientists to investigate this anomaly, because this is like a level 7. Better send in my Solaris researchers to figure this shit out. Had to throw in a little meme there, but here, get one more bowl loaded up here. And wait, what the fuck? Southern Baptist Church Apocalypse Sex Abuse Scandal. It's an 11-minute video. Fuck, not enough time to check out. That is something I'm gonna save for later tonight. I'm not surprised, but what the fuck? I'm not surprised, honestly. It's just like, oh wow, a church with sex abuse scandals? Color me shocked. This thumbnail is actually a little disturbing. You got this just weird, like, moldy potato white guy just staring at me, and I guarantee you he's like a diddler. The guy like a diddler just staring at me like that. It's like, fuck, that. I don't like that. I don't like that. I got a weird potato-looking white guy just staring at me creepishly. Why'd you make that the thumbnail, Kyle? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I'm gonna get that guy off my screen now. Ugh. Creepy. Alright, here, let me top it off. There we go. Boom. Alright. Let's get bowl loaded, head off to work, do the grind, and come back home. And do the same usual routine. Oh, it's payday, and hopefully, those fucking wages actually came in, because supposedly this paycheck's the one that they got in. So I'm gonna figure that shit out, like, right when I fucking clock on. cashing that bitch in like right when I walk in. So, like I want to make sure that is legit. Because if it ain't, someone's gotta be pissed. Smoke that bowl extra hard. Yeah, I'm going to, especially just knowing that, because I'm probably gonna want to make sure I'm high a little bit to. Well, I'm already pretty high, but you know, a little extra just to keep cool. Because I'll be like, I heard that this week's supposed to be a confirmation of like new wage increases, and let's say they are, but they're actually not. Mine isn't equal to that. Mine are, you know, tied to that. Like, who do I talk to with that? You know, it's like, because I want to make sure this shit gets solved before I actually, like, you know, start working real quick. Because this is, that's like a little what the fuck. Because if not, and if that shit don't get fixed, I am most certainly organizing a walkout. Because a lot of us have been talking about it if this shit don't change. So, we'll see. But anyway, at least for now, I guess I'll let y'all know. But, peace out. Gotta go into that grind. But